So, a couple things that have helped me appreciate life recently are one, I met this homeless guy maybe a month ago. He has arthritis in his legs, or in his whole body actually, so his ankles are like swollen, like so big, like bigger than like probably the size of my torso, filled with something. I don't know. He gets surgery every once in a while to get it like drained, and his legs are huge. So I saw him on the side of the road, and I pulled over and asked him to pray for him. And then I've seen him a few times since then. And then the other day, I invited him to church, um, and I was like sitting next to him, and this guy is massive. Like, he's shorter than me, but he's just big, and it's because of the arthritis. He's like swollen. And he was sitting next to me, and then I like looked at myself, and I looked at him, and I was like, this guy can barely sit down comfortably. He can barely walk. Could barely fit in my car. And I was like, how could I ever complain about the body I have? How? I can move. I can walk. I can fit in a car without even having to try hard. And then also I was reading this book. I have been reading this book called The Gulag Archipelago. It's a book about the Soviet Union and the terrible things that were happening during communist Russia. And one of the stories that really hit me was how they were just arresting so many people. They're arresting so many people, and the cells they had were like maybe 3 feet by 6 feet. Little just like closets, no light, with like one little circle for the air. 3 feet by 6 feet were the cells, and this guy was describing how when he got sent in one, he's like, he could barely fit 3 people, and when he got in there, he was the 4th. So they all had to like lay down at night, and they were just completely on top of each other, sleeping. And they're like, just when we thought it couldn't get any worse, they put somebody else in our cell. So they had 5 people in their cell that can barely fit 3 people. And it just made me think, like, what am I complaining about? Like, I'm worried about a job or school, or that I do really well in volleyball. Like, and how could I ever even let these things get to me? You know, me being poor in the United States is nothing compared to what these people went through. And that's just prison over there. There was much worse things that happened. People were tortured. Yeah. So recently I've been just extra grateful for my circumstance, you know? The healthy body that God's given me, and the fact that I live in a developed country that is not currently communist, that I have freedom. So look at your life. I mean, I'm sure there are people that have it much worse than me that are watching this video, maybe. But then think about other people's lives. Some people have it really tough, really, really tough, and they're worried about real things. Like, what are they going to eat? Or am I going to survive tonight? So we should be not trying to save our lives, but giving it to God. Giving our bodies to God as a living sacrifice that he can do with what he pleases. Because we know our reward in heaven is so much greater and so worth it, that even the worst things we go through here won't even compare to the glory that we'll experience in heaven. We can actually rejoice when we experience trials, because it's producing steadfastness in our faith and building us into the people that we are supposed to be, closer to perfection. Cool. Good night.